on scene. But this is the end of a pursuit out here in the Silver Lake area. Live in Sky 9, I'm Stu Mandel. Back to you two in the studio. What? Right now, it's just that one. Other officers were en route. They're probably still stuck in traffic out here. I'm doing a little bit of a wider shot to see where they are. I understand they're still about a mile away from this area. Now, LAPD, they've been very, very careful with their policies lately. This was a full-blown pursuit. They did back off, they did back off before this accident. They turned off the night sun on the helicopter. They were in tracking mode, and there she goes. There she goes. She's made her decision. She's going to keep this moving. Southbound Alvarado. And this vehicle's still moving out here. LAPD, they're going to be getting back in their cars. Not sure if they're just going to call this a pursuit once again or go back into tracking mode, but you can see that SUV, described as a Mercedes SUV, now working its way. I believe this is going to be on either 3rd or Beverly, but really starting to move out again. You can see that car actually getting a little bit of air going over those bumps. LAPD, there's backup units that you were asking about, Jeff. I'm sure they're going to be getting here shortly. You can see that car making these erratic moves. That's what they got. That's what they noticed earlier on. That's what got LAPD's attention. It's still moving along out here. We're going to get you some streets. But now, we're approaching Glendale Boulevard, but now this is going to be another full-blown pursuit. We saw that vehicle stop after an accident. She's on Temple, just past Glendale Boulevard. Whoa.
To the innocent people around this person leading them on a pursuit. But Jeff, you brought up a good point. Pursuits are inherently dangerous to begin with, let alone with a driver who may be drunk. So a lot of different factors LAPD is dealing with right now. But Stu, are you getting any kind of sense of how fast she's going on these surface streets here?
You know, she speeds up, she slows down. You know, one thing I can tell you is weaving in and out of traffic, making a lot of erratic moves out here. That airbag definitely deployed. You can actually see that in the shot right there. She's got that airbag sitting there in her lap. Now, that may have happened from that other accident that we saw. We saw her off at a distance when she was getting off the 101 at Alvarado. There was a collision, actually went up on the embankment, came back down. That may be from where that airbag, you can see her actually fussing with that airbag right there. Now she seems like she's waiting for a light. You can see that helicopter. That's the LAPD helicopter overhead. Now, LAPD, they're handling this. They're very ginger about this. You can actually see those blinking lights there behind. There it is. It's peeking. They're peeking through. They're here. They're making their presence known, but this vehicle still continuing to elude the officers. And we just know we're making another turn right here. We'll get you a direction. 101 eastbound is going to be the 101 eastbound is where it looks like where we're going. LAPD, 1 officer's behind it there. Jeff, you were asking about that backup earlier. Now I'm kind of curious. Yeah. Where are they? Now, when it gets on the freeway, they might be getting the California Highway Patrol involved, but you know those crazy high speeds, that is a newer model SUV, Mercedes. So it has a lot of power. It's got a lot of go. But with that person behind the wheel, and look at her. She's weaving in and out. We've already seen a couple of accidents. You saw it. I heard Jeff when she came up on that light earlier on. She does get very close to other cars, and we can see that damage on that vehicle. She hasn't been very good at it before.
Well, you could tell that she is impaired. I mean, this is we're talking about a possible drunk driver, and she's getting close to vehicles, and driving very fast, going through red lights, and now it looks like she's almost out of control. And not being able to see very well because, as Stu pointed out, the airbag is deployed. So she's been fussing with it, trying to see around this deployed airbag in her car from a previous accident. God, and so that's another factor in making this even more dangerous than just the pursuits we see all the time. Possibly DUI driver behind the wheel, airbag deployed, high rates of speed, and now trying to drive and maneuver a car
on the freeway here. Not a good recipe. It's a recipe for disaster.
And they got the right turn signal on at this point in time. No headlights, it looks like. Again, this is a DUI driver, we believe, behind the wheel of this Mercedes. It's a woman. This is 101 eastbound now. LAPD in pursuit. We just saw one cruiser behind this. It was kind of a stop-and-go pursuit. This individual stopped, and then they thought it was a standoff there for a while. They initially had a full-blown pursuit, then they backed off, and it's back to a full-blown pursuit with only one cruiser at one point in time. It's now on the highway. CHP maybe now getting involved.
And Stu, you did say earlier that LAPD does have the helicopter up above as well.
Well, that's right. The helicopter's been keeping an eye on this vehicle. We know that there was at least one cruiser behind it, but, you know, they shut off the light from the helicopter. They backed off. The ground unit did back off before that accident, right when we started this whole thing. So the officers being behind them, the light being on, doesn't seem to be affecting the way this person's driving. Right now, traffic seems to be slowing her down just a bit. We're coming up on the East LA interchange. That's going to be the next thing right there. You can see her cutting across those gore points, doing it again. It seems like when she does make those lane changes, very aggressive, instead of slowing down, speeding up. Possibly getting off in an off-ramp. I saw, yep, we're getting back off onto surface streets out here. This vehicle, not sure if she knows where she's going, because I'm a little confused right now where we are too. East Los Angeles, looks like we're heading southbound on a major, but this vehicle, a lot of damage to it this evening. We know when they first got pulling into a gas station right there, DeSoto, northeast corner of DeSoto. I didn't get the cross, but you can see her driving around. That airbag still deployed there. Don't know if she's going to getting back onto the road, just kind of driving around trying to elude officers. But that helicopter is going to be overhead, going to be keeping an eye on it. Hopefully her aggressive driving slows down a little bit, but we haven't seen that yet.
Unfortunately, we have not, but we are still seeing the police cruiser, if I saw that correctly there, Stu, keeping a good distance between themselves and this woman. You said also that the LAPD helicopter obviously has turned off its spotlight on this car. Do you believe that this is all part of the strategy of trying to get this pursuit to stop without actually having to intervene with a pit maneuver or something aggressive like that? Because there's so many factors that are wrong here. The airbag deployed. She's possible DUI. She's in a very powerful car going high rates of speed. I mean, there are so many things that could go wrong here. You think they maybe just decided to try to let the steam run out on this one?
Well, you know, the policy out here has been to be very, they don't want the pursuits. LAPD has been very ginger on the whole thing. They don't want to deal with them. Right now, though, she's going over one of those major bridges out here, or trying to get a location for everybody. We're working our way back into the Los Angeles area. We're westbound, and we can tell you that she's I'm sorry. We're making another turn. We're going to be going northbound. We're basically right in the very industrial area of downtown Los Angeles, very close to the river, making another wide turn right there. We'll get you some of these smaller streets here as soon as we can. Santa Fe was one of the last streets that we were talking about, but you can see she's making these blocks right there. LAPD, they have backed off on the ground. They have the helicopter overhead. They do have that light off. And what I was trying to talk about earlier on was how their pursuit policies have been not to chase people, to back off. But in this case, this person driving very erratically, wide turns, are hit.
All right, well, let's make sure that we get back to Stu as soon as that signal comes back up.
Before.
But we do have a pursuit in progress right now. Stu Mandell's in Sky 9. We can't tell you.
You're banking and yanking too
okay.
hard.
Stu, you're back on. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was just talking with Brendan, my pilot, today. We're actually doing a lot of movement out here. You can see this vehicle making all these turns out here in industrial area. It's just basically making blocks out here, trying to elude the officers. The helicopter overhead, southbound Mateo was the last location, but when she gets onto these wider streets, she really continues to open up and getting those higher speeds, opening that throttle up. Right now, streets are kind of empty. That's a good sign. I believe we're coming up on Alameda right now. That looks like a northbound turn on Alameda, downtown Los Angeles area, working her way back towards the freeways. Now, this did start in the North Hollywood area. The original want was when they got behind it, they said erratic driving, possible DUI. You can see that damage to that vehicle. The rear window's busted out. You can see a lot of damage to the side of the car. Now, when they were in pursuit, as soon as that helicopter got overhead earlier on the 101, the vehicle, they backed off. They did everything that they were supposed to do, right through a red light, solid red, northbound Alameda, downtown Los Angeles area, working its way back to the freeways. Now, they did everything they were supposed to do. Another hard turn, but it hadn't slowed this thing down. Has
almost
not
head on.
slowed the car down at any time. And this vehicle continues to move. Female driver possibly impaired. You can see that car making some wide turns out there. Maybe something just happened. There's a crowd of people out there. Oh, they're just out for a walk, just keeping an eye on it. Now just coming to another peculiar
stop.
To back up? Now backing up again.
Trying to get to a parking
like
garage,
maybe this is an area. Yeah, looks like maybe she's just going to try to parallel park it and pretend like nothing's going on. But we did see it earlier on. We were all here. This vehicle had stopped, and then all of a sudden started moving again. Right now, the vehicle stopped. That light, by the way, that's going to be the LAPD. They got the light back on it. They're trying to get their cruisers over to this area. There it is. That's the one we've been seeing this entire time. And again, they're in their positions. They're probably giving her, doing their announcements right now over the loudspeakers, telling her to get out of the vehicle. Let's see if this time it comes to an end.
Yeah,
let's. No, and she again decided to take off. It seems as though now, Stu, this is at least the second time we've seen her stop and look like maybe this might come to an end. The second time we've seen her take off, she's starting to toy with him now at this point.
You got to wonder if this is a plan. Is she that impaired where, you know, maybe she's just really just not thinking about what's going on, staying a little bit wide. Looks like she's making another northbound turn, so we're not going to be able to see him around that building. We're going to keep an eye out for it. When we start making those hard turns, that's when we always seem to lose our signal. So there we go. We're still working our way northbound out here. Let me keep an eye on that car there. It's going underneath over there. It is. There it is. And, you know, but she keeps eluding these officers, but it gives you an idea what the LAPD's got to see out there, too, what they're looking at, working its way into the Chinatown area now, downtown Los Angeles. Looks like another red
That's
light
the second
right
one
there,
in a
solid
row.
red. Just went right through it. Other people getting out of the way. Another solid red out here. This is, you know, you just got to worry that this is going to end poorly. Fast moving. No regard for any of these red lights, and we've seen this thing at least hit one other vehicle this evening, and this car clearly damaged from other accidents.
Yeah, well, at least she's going the right way in a one-way. A lot of those one-way roads downtown, as she takes another run right through a red light. That's the third one in a row. Let's bring you up to speed real quick. This all started in North Hollywood.
We just went through
a person pulled over for drunk driving. Is what the initial call was, but there had been a couple accidents along the way. The front end damage, almost to the car. This is a Mercedes SUV. Front end damage, rear damage as well. The airbag has been deployed in this car. She continues to drive erratically and aggressively on the highway, off the highway, back on the side streets, and now downtown, gone through Silver Lake. And this is an impaired, possibly impaired driver that police are trying to round up, and she has stopped and started, by our count, since we went to air 3 times.
Yep, and Stu, you know, I'm not sure if you're hearing anything on the scanner about the communication at all, or any attempts to communicate between LAPD and the female driver leading them on this pursuit.
Well, you know, Elsa, their communication is the lights and sirens and the reds and blues and the officers whenever this thing comes to a stop. Now
that's a one-way street.
Talking about, Jeff, this is the first time as a one-way street. She's just kind of backing. Now she's backing up into an officer's vehicle. You can see those officers really, they are slowing down, going the other, and backing up as well. Now she's corrected it. Now she's working her way back the other direction. What street is she on? I'm trying to figure that out as well. Now she's going southbound.
Oh, that's an opposite direction. That's the opposite direction.
Another wrong way. And you can see officers from LAPD. That's going to be Central Division right there. And now she's actually corrected it. But downtown, actually getting up behind
a police
an
officer right there.
out here, probably just out here doing their business.
How brazen is that to drive right past a cruiser like that? How brazen is that? I mean, or they're so impaired they don't know what's going on.
Well, you know, that's the thing, and if that officer might have made a move, is that officer involved in the pursuit? All these are the questions that it's all policy out here. These officers might just be patrolling. Right now, I think this is going to be on 7th Street, working her way back over towards Broadway. I'm keeping an eye on that helicopter, seeing where, there she goes, right there. I believe this is going to be 7th Street. We're working our way back towards Broadway right now, driving a little bit slower. If that's the only good thing I can say. Now we're going to be making another northbound turn. This is going to be Broadway, and we're keeping an eye on it. These buildings making it a little difficult. I don't know how our buddies in bigger cities like New York do this all the time. Don't know where she went. Let me get a little bit wider, see which direction she went there. But the pursuit somewhere directly under us, we'll find it here in just a second.
Yeah, you know, I noticed there were quite a few pedestrians on the side there, and of course it's dark as well. You got an impaired driver, and high speeds going through downtown the wrong way. We've seen her go through several red stoplights in a row. Looks like the police helicopter is also looking for the suspect vehicle as well.
Yeah, we've also seen her, Jeff, as you brought up, a lot of one-way streets downtown. And eventually we did see her come across some one-way streets where she tried to turn, backed up right in the middle of intersections or on streets to get on a road, taking her the right way. But we've seen it all almost tonight with this driver. She has taken off, pulled over and taken off 3 times when it seems as though she's bringing this to a stop, and she just doesn't and takes off.
Well, that's just since we started the pursuit.
Right.
Now, she had stopped and started a couple of times before and actually got into an accident. There's damage to the front, so she hit somebody. That deployed the airbag. Somebody hit her in the back. She also sideswiped somebody because there's damage on the driver's side. And then looks like we're back on the vehicle again now, Stu.
Well, you know what? I was amazed that we found her once again. Back on Los Angeles Street, as I understand it, you can see that vehicle really starting to move out. Again, higher speeds, extremely dangerous situation. That vehicle gave us a slip. You know what? The only thing I can say is LAPD, they've got it. They do it a lot better than we do, and we were following them, and they lost it as well. Underneath the 10 freeway right there, looks like we're going to be getting onto the 10 freeway. At least that's what one of these on-ramps is right here. Let's see if she actually does it. Back onto the eastbound 10 freeway. And from San Pedro Street, and you can see that vehicle getting back up on the freeway, still these high speeds, still that impaired driving type of situation. LAPD still in pursuit. It's just a miracle she hasn't hit anything else, if we can say it like that. Airbags deployed. This started up in the North Hollywood area. You can see that light going off. The light just turned off from the LAPD, but her lights now off as well. It's just going to make it a little bit more dangerous for all these people out there on the street. And take a look at these speeds. Really, really starting to move out. Let me see if I can try to get some kind of speed as we track it in the helicopter this evening. So we're probably we're just knocking on the triple digits out there this evening as we're working our way eastbound on the 110 freeway. High speeds, weaving in and out, and this vehicle continuing to elude officers from LAPD.
And what is wrong with this person to decide to turn their headlights off all of a sudden if they're going 100 miles an hour on the highway? That almost sideswiped that car.
Right.
This is going to be this is dangerous already. I can't believe I mean, we know that she's already hit a couple of cars, but I can't believe since the time that we've joined this pursuit, we haven't seen her hit another. This is amazing.
Yeah, we've seen her take more and more chances as we've been watching, Stu.
This is concerning.
But it seems like she slows down a little bit, and then it just gets crazier. Every time she slows down, it's like that 1 step back, 3 steps forward. This vehicle continues to create these high speeds. Looks like we're getting off the freeway once again, basically back in that same location that we were earlier on. LAPD still there. Whoa! There we go. There we go. She actually did a pit maneuver on some civilian out there. That blue car spinning out, and the car continues to go. LAPD, they're overhead. They're watching it. Their policies right now is to basically they're in tracking mode, and this vehicle continuing to drive extremely crazy. So now we've seen at least one solid hit. That front of that Mercedes really starting to get banged up. This car continues to drive out here. That car, that person. There's another car blocking the road trying to park out here. We're in a residential area. This is going to be just in the East LA area, just border. It's going to be Boyle Heights, I'm guessing right now. We'll get you some streets as soon as we can, but it looks like she's doing that I'm just going to park thing until the cops get here again. And it looks like she's backing up. We'll get you a street name, but you can see the helicopter, the LAPD helicopter lighting it up. They're giving them locations. But again, that's going to be Whittier right there is going to be the cross she's on. But you can see parking that vehicle again like nothing happened. That front bumper gone, the rear window gone, just kind of pulling over, relaxing as it would be, wondering what's going to happen when LAPD pulls up. They've got to get here pretty quick. The officers, you can see that helicopter overhead, right?
Was that a cruiser that just went by?
They're looking for it.
Yeah. Well, they got the spotlight on her.
They're actually in the area looking. Yep.
I'm pretty impressed that she was
making that U-turn.
Yeah, let's take a look on the right side of your screen here. This is just a few moments ago. We'll get Stu in just a second. They do have the spotlight on that suspected driver, but to the right side you'll see the driver hit a car through an intersection. This is a possibly impaired driver that was coming off the highway at what Stu said was triple digits. Oh, well, so it looks like they have the spotlight backing up. I was actually impressed with how she was able to parallel park after all of the terrible driving that was done before that. Right. There we go.
Well, now it looks like they are blocking her from taking off again, as we've seen her do 3 times since we picked up this pursuit. So, but there still is only one cruiser. Yes.
This is going to be a dangerous situation. The officer's getting back in their vehicle right there, just, you know, trying to defuse the situation the best they could. If she would have hit that police car, that could have changed it a lot. Right now, it looks like we're going to be southbound on Whittier, making another turn. We're going to be in the Boyle Heights area. This vehicle continuing on. You know, LAPD, they're just kind of letting her do her thing this evening, and this is something very unusual. We know that they're trying to change up their policies, and they know they're trying to do this for the public, but in this case, you just got to wonder. This car moving extremely fast out here. We've seen at least one accident with a civilian where that car has basically spun out as she got off the freeway this evening. The helicopter turned their light off again. So right now, the public not really aware that this person driving very reckless this evening, no lights on, several accidents, and impaired.
You know, Stu, they've given her several chances. They've backed off from her. They've turned off the spotlight on the helicopter, the LAPD. They've backed off the patrol cars. They've given her space to try to make the right decision and end this. She's pulled over several times, and people were thinking, involved in this pursuit, maybe, you know, we're going to be sitting here for a while until we defuse this. But every single time she's taken off, and now she is going very fast on surface streets. We're now in Boyle Heights, and she has turned her lights off. LAPD helicopter has turned their lights off, and again, we are back at this cat and mouse game here on the surface streets.
It's almost like a jackrabbit. Just runs a little bit, stops, and then runs a little bit more, and stops, and runs a little bit more. And she's very lucky that police officers didn't open fire on that vehicle that was heading right towards that police car. I thought maybe at one point in time that might have happened. I mean, that car was coming right towards that police cruiser, 2 officers inside, made it inside, and I thought that they practiced just amazing restraint.
Yes, absolutely. Considering the amount of danger she has put innocent people in since this pursuit has been going on, she has hit other innocent drivers. She's been involved in several accidents along the way during this pursuit. Her airbag is deployed. Initially, LAPD tried to pull her over on suspicion of DUI. So we've got a lot of very dangerous factors going on here as well, and she continues on in the streets of Boyle Heights.
Yeah, and they see there on the right-hand part of your screen, this is the point in time where the driver almost hits that police car. The police officers can't open fire if they see that that's a deadly weapon and started to hit that car. So this is an impaired driver, we believe, and this is going to be back to live. What has happened now? Stopping again, Stu?
Stopping again. We were on Cesar Chavez for some time, really high speeds. The vehicle just coming to a stop. I'm doing a wider shot so you can see this is a residential neighborhood. We did see her just flick a cigarette out of the car just sitting there right now, and it looks like we're starting to move again, and then we stop again. That vehicle, it's obviously not the vehicle. The vehicle's probably going to be able to go. The driver is making these bizarre decisions this evening. LAPD, they are right there behind him. And it looks like we're starting to move again, and then she slows down again. The helicopter definitely has the light back on it. You've got some civilians just kind of probably wondering what's going on out there. You can see that person approaching that intersection very cautiously. That vehicle stopped once again. A number of LAPD officers behind them. These are North Hollywood officers. These are going to be the officers from North Hollywood, and it looks like we're starting to move once again out here. Now, you know, you said it. The LAPD using a lot of restraint out there this evening. That when that vehicle made that move towards those officers, as soon as that vehicle starts going, the LAPD shutting their lights off. That's their new policy. So that car continues to move out here. You can see that's going to be, I believe, is going to be First Street, and we're making another turn right there. But LAPD, the car's behind it, lights and sirens, but they're keeping their distance. This car really starting to move again. I believe if we're not out of the Boyle Heights area yet, we're going to be working our way into East Los Angeles. Very high speeds right now. Sheriff's Department might get involved as we're going to be leaving the city area, getting into the county area shortly. But I'm just very concerned for anybody that's out on the road. We saw this car make contact with a civilian just coming off the freeway, basically hit the back of that car, spun it around. That Mercedes kept going. Right now, fast speeds, slower speeds. East Los Angeles will get you some streets here, but I believe that we're going to be on First Street, a little bit on the wrong side of the road, as we're going to make another wide turn back into a residential neighborhood, but she just keeps driving. LAPD's following on the ground. They're watching from the air. We're keeping an eye on it as well. Luckily, not too many people out here this evening on some of these residential roads. She's on the wrong side of the road. She's on the right side of the road. She's using it all. Everything available to her, she seems to be taking advantage of this evening. That car just keeps going. Her destination, I'm hoping it's not going to be the hospital, and it's just going to be a jail cell tonight.
Well, hopefully that person that she hit isn't in the hospital or going to the hospital. There might have been injuries in that. Just a reminder real quickly, we're going to lose Stu here for just a minute. You can pick him up on CBS 2 at 11 o'clock tonight as this pursuit continues here on KCAL 9.
Yes, Stu, while you're monitoring the situation up there, we will give you a recap. We have been following this pursuit for about 30 minutes or so. It had been going on before we picked it up. Before we picked it up, we were told the driver leading LAPD on this pursuit had gotten into several traffic collisions. The airbag was deployed. They initially wanted to stop her for suspicion of DUI. We have seen her drive through Silver Lake, Boyle Heights, hop on and off the freeway, and now she finally appears to be trapped.
She drove right up. She almost launched herself between two sitting cruisers. And
almost as if she thought maybe for a second she was going to try to go. And she's still going.
Okay. This is going to be a situation we may have to pan out. Police officers at this point in time can consider this deadly force and can use their weapons. So I just want to remind everybody, if police officers still, I can't believe this is happening. This could be a very dangerous situation. We're going to, let's see how this goes here, but this is one that could end up considered deadly force against this woman, and I think he's going in there tasing her.
Okay, yeah, Jeff, you're correct. You're correct, Jeff. It looks like they were tasing her. We took our shot off of the screen there and widened out a little bit just in case things get worse than that, but obviously she was using her vehicle to force the police cruisers out of the way to possibly continue on this pursuit.
I can't believe that they practiced that much restraint when it came to not shooting her and using non-lethal. I mean, she was pushing a police car and threatening officers. There were officers outside in the other vehicle.
And it looks like, they're taking her down there, pulled her out of the car. And yes, Jeff, you mentioned restraint, but as we have seen over the last 6 months to a year, LAPD has gone through a lot of training, and as Stu said earlier, it's about protocol and it's about policy.
Well, the policy has certainly changed, because we have seen situations like that before where police officers open fire, and I believe lawfully they had the right to do so. At that point in time, that is a weapon, and that's being used against police officers. If you engage and push a vehicle and police officers are right there, they can open fire. I'm surprised. I mean, for them, it's showing that they can do this without hurting an individual, and that's an amazing feat right there that they were able to do that. But I would think that it would be within their lawful right to shoot through the windshield at that driver.
Well, a very dramatic end to a very dramatic car chase through the streets of downtown Los Angeles and surrounding areas.
And cooled in the river Styx.
Yeah, that's why I called you.
Step back.
Oh, no. Oh, no. You know what? I just realized I got a chainsaw.
Are you kidding?
She is one angry person. Look at her. So many close calls, and in the end, that Mercedes just pushing or trying to push its way through a bunch of police cruisers. Officers from the LAPD choosing to use less than lethal, excellent choice, by the way, and we're tasing this driver as this car was trying to push its way through a bunch of LAPD vehicles. It had at least one collision that we saw up close with a civilian vehicle earlier on, and possibly two other crashes before. Stop and go through the downtown Los Angeles area. Coming to an end out here is going to be on Bonnie Beach at the cross of Michigan, East Los Angeles area. It was a cul-de-sac that basically brought it to an end. She made that turn. She started coming back, and the officers from LAPD were making their way into that street. That car made contact with those police cruisers and tried to push them out of the way. Officers from LAPD, some of them trying to get to safety, others, quick thinking, pulled out tasers and were tasing her. While that was going on, other officers made entry into the vehicle, pulling her out and then taking her into custody. There she is live. They have handcuffs on her. They are calling for an ambulance because she has been tased, and that vehicle's been in several accidents this evening. But a very crazy pursuit out here this evening. One officer's vehicle pretty well damaged, and another civilian's car was spun out. We don't know that condition of that person that was in the car. We're hoping they're okay. That driver this evening in custody. Thank goodness it ended at least in that type of positive light. Live in Sky 2 over the East Los Angeles area, I'm Stu Mundell. Back to you two in the studio. Man, I can't believe we lost it there around that corner that one time. The only way I knew it was they were calling out the location. Yeah, and he was actually rushing to it too. Simon Des checking in. Yeah, I hope so. Somebody's saying we're still hot on the web. I beg to differ, but let me check. Yeah, it said recorded live. Okay. Well, guys, I'm being told that I'm still live on Facebook Live, so I'm going to make like I am live on Facebook Live. This is a pursuit termination. You guys all saw it. I'm actually trying. Oh, there we are. We are live. What do you know? You know what? I'm sorry I wasn't with you guys more. It was a tough one, wasn't it? Oh, my God, the twists, the turns. The spins, we lost signal a couple times, and that wasn't because of Brennan. It was because of that person. We were trying to keep up with her. It was a chase of all chases, at least for a while. This has been a while since we've seen something as crazy as that. She's still actually fighting with officers down there. You can see that vehicle basically try to push its way through those officers' cars. It was nuts. California Highway Patrol never got involved. Sheriff's Department never got involved. LAPD, they are, you know what? They're trying to find their way with new policies. That's all I can really say. Right now, though, that person, that woman, still fighting with those officers down there. Don't know what's impairing her. I find it hard to believe that's alcohol, but at any rate, that Mercedes pretty banged up. She's probably that's gonna leave a mark. She's gonna be talking about that tomorrow. I can almost guarantee it to you. But yeah, this thing coming to an end out here, and we got tape. I'm playing, man. Yeah, let me watch that. You know, I gotta say, when it went dark there for a second, that was because of, I gotta switch. Welcome to my world. You guys gotta wait a second. That was because of our doubler. We got a digital doubler, and when I do that, it's got to kind of catch up. Hang on there. And if you guys are watching on the web, I'm going to re-rack it right now, and you guys are going to see what's going on. If you didn't see it earlier on, here we go. So she's basically making her way around that cul-de-sac. She's coming back. And as she's coming back, she's going to pass that one cop car. There it is. And then she squeezes her way. Whoop! She comes to a stop right there. And she's trying to make that decision. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then she decides, I'm just going to try to push my way through. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. And look at that. Look at that door. Watch that one officer that's over there by that driver's side door. It's just getting pushed, getting pushed, getting pushed. Push, push. And then they turn on the lights so we can definitely see it. You can see officers out there. And when that happened, there you go. One of the officers comes out with the tasers. There they go. Now they're tasing her. I got to wonder if they hit her. You know, there you go. That one definitely has got to have made contact. And you can see the number of officers getting around there. And then, of course, other officers are going to go try to get around the other side and open up that door. But, oh, it was crazy. It was crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. There you go. And then LAPD helping that suspect out of that vehicle. Oh, there you go. And that brings it to an end. So this is going to be taped, obviously. We just watched that one more time. What? Who did? Oh, you did? Oh, cool, man. Thank you. They're showing that little push, push, push again. Trying to shove Joe. Yep. What? That fire department's here? Yeah. Oh, it's all good. I'm just watching it. Man, that was crazy. Oh, yeah, yeah. I saw that too. All right, going back out to the live camera. The ambulances are just here. They're going to check her out, and then they're going to probably take her to the hospital. Angela, I don't know. Brennan, were you trying to twist this around? All right. She's like, this is the pilot twist. It's the nicer, kinder LAPD, and they won't shoot people. I don't think it had anything to do with that. Yeah, it was a major crossfire situation. You had officers on both sides of her. Oh, there's a car chase in Palmdale, and Mark Anthony has got footage of that. I want to see that. Yeah, man. Drop that to me, for real, if he's still there. Oh, Michael, you know what? Someday we got to sit down and have a beer, and I'll tell you about the real stew. It's been an interesting couple of days. Yeah, that poor Mustang. Whose car is that? Shelly, what level are you on? She's playing the Candy Crush, crushing the candies. Somebody send me a life. No, I don't post these chases, but I'm sure it's going to be on the CBS website. Simon Desk, we are just checking in. What van? Where was her van? Bum ba da bum. Oh, that's a sexy van. Look at that sexy van. Who brought the ground power? Sigh. I gotta catch up. Yeah, it's heat. There's no doubt about it. There we go. More heat. We're good right now. Go ahead, sir, go ahead. You're not looking at that correctly. She's sitting there talking. They're just cutting her Pendleton off probably to get to her arms to do to check for the where she was tased and blood pressure and all that other good stuff. She seems to be pretty cooperative now, all of a sudden. Time to reflect. Time to take that time to reflect upon the evening, how her night was. Oh, I wish I could hear what she's saying. All right, copy. Yeah, there's definitely a very, very sexy van down there. We're gone, guys. Thank you for watching. We definitely appreciate it. It was a little rusty. Had to knock the rust off of it. Sorry about that. Listening to some relaxing, cool jazz as we're flying away. Be safe, guys. Have fun.